Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had $10,000 in your bank account? Not in investments, not in retirement accounts. Just sitting there, ready to use. For 37% of Americans, that number feels completely out of reach. According to the Federal Reserve's latest report, 37% of adults could not cover a surprise $400 expense with cash. Let that sink in. $400. One car repair, one emergency room visit, one broken appliance, and nearly 4 in 10 Americans would be completely stuck. Here's another shocking number. The U.S. personal saving rate fell to just 2.6% in April 2026, down from 5.5% a year earlier. That's a 53% drop in only 12 months. Americans are saving half of what they were saving just 1 year ago. And the median emergency savings for Americans? According to Empower Research, it's just $500. That's it. 1/3 of Americans have no emergency savings fund at all. 29% say they can't afford an unexpected expense over $400. But here's the thing. Saving $10,000 in 6 months isn't about being rich. It's not about winning the lottery. It's about having a system. And today, I'm going to give you that system. Before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Because if you don't understand why you're struggling to save, no amount of tips and tricks will help you. Here's the reality. The average American is living paycheck to paycheck. Not because they're bad with money, but because the system is designed to extract every dollar from you. Look at the numbers. Housing costs have skyrocketed. The 50-30-20 rule, which says spend 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings, is becoming increasingly difficult to follow. For many Americans, needs now consume 60 or even 65% of their income. Groceries are more expensive, insurance premiums are rising, rent is through the roof, and wages? They're not keeping up. This isn't a personal failure. This is a systemic problem, and the data proves it. According to the Federal Reserve, the share of adults who would pay for a $400 emergency expense with cash or its equivalent has been declining since 2021. More people are relying on credit cards, borrowing from friends and family, or simply not being able to pay at all. But here's what the data also shows. The people who are building wealth aren't the ones earning the most money. They're the ones who have figured out how to keep more of what they earn. In fact, 72% of American workers now depend on at least one additional source of income. 71% predict secondary income will become more common in 2026. The side hustle isn't a trend, it's a necessity. Over 1 in 4 Americans, 28%, now have a side hustle. 4 in 5 started for financial reasons rather than personal fulfillment. 54% wanted extra money for bills or essentials. Only 9% started a side hustle to pursue a passion. This is not a luxury. This is survival. So if you're struggling to save, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're operating in a system that makes saving incredibly difficult. But here's the good news. You can still win. You just need a different strategy. Let's start with the math because numbers don't lie. To save $10,000 in 6 months, you need to set aside $1,667 every single month. That breaks down to about $417 per week, or roughly $60 per day. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can't save $60 a day. I barely have $60 left at the end of the month. And you're right. If you're trying to save $60 a day from your current income alone, it's going to be extremely difficult for most people. That's why this plan has 3 components. Component 1, cut expenses. Find $20 a day in savings. Component 2, earn more. Find $20 a day in extra income. Component 3, save smarter. Make your money work harder. When you combine all 3, $60 a day becomes achievable. But let's be honest, cutting $60 a day from your budget alone is nearly impossible for the average person. Cutting $20 a day? That's doable. Earning an extra $20 a day? That's doable too. And saving smarter? That's just smart. So let's break this down. Let's start with cutting expenses. Where can you find $20 a day? The coffee trap. If you buy one $5 coffee every day, That's $150 a month, $1,800 a year. Over 30 years, invested at 8%, that's over $200,000. One coffee every day. The delivery fee. That $15 delivery fee you pay because you're too tired to cook. Twice a week? That's $120 a month, $1,440 a year. The subscription graveyard. That $14.99 streaming service you haven't watched in 6 months, that's $90 gone. 3 of those? Nearly $600 a year. The convenience tax. Delivery apps mark up food by 30%, plus fees, plus tips. That $20 meal costs you $35. Do that twice a week, and you've just spent an extra $1,500 a year just to sit on your couch. The banking fees. Paying $3 to withdraw your own money is financial self-harm. Do that twice a week, and that's over $300 a year. Add all of these up. Coffee, delivery, subscriptions, convenience fees, banking fees. That's easily $20 a day. The no-spend challenge. One of the most effective ways to find these savings is to do a no-spend challenge. Commit to not buying anything outside of necessities for a set period. People who do this often save thousands of dollars. The No Spend Challenge is a diagnostic tool that reveals your spending patterns and dependencies. It shows you exactly where your money is going. One woman saved over $1,000 in just 1 month by doing a No Spend Challenge. Another participant saved more than she expected by cutting out non-essentials like coffees, streaming subscriptions, online purchases, and takeaway food. So here's your first action step. Do a 7-day no-spend challenge. No coffee shops, no delivery apps, no impulse Amazon purchases, just essentials. See how much you save. I guarantee you, the number will shock you. Now let's talk about earning more. Because even if you cut every expense possible, you might still fall short. That's where side hustles come in. So what are the best side hustles in 2026? E-commerce and reselling. This is the most popular side hustle category, with 41% of respondents selling online. 26% sell handmade or custom goods. 18% sell vintage or secondhand items. 16% sell digital products like templates or courses. The most popular platforms are eBay at 49%, Amazon at 47%, Facebook Marketplace at 41%, and TikTok Shop at 30%. Freelance work. 25% of side hustlers do freelance work. This includes writing, graphic design, virtual assistants, and consulting. Platforms like Upwork and Fiverr make it easy to get started. Food delivery services. 23% work for food delivery services. Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub are always looking for drivers. Content creation. 16% are content creators. This includes YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and podcasting. It takes time to build an audience, but once you do, the income can be significant. Renting your stuff. Beyond Airbnb, individuals are monetizing personal assets through car-sharing platforms like Turo, as well as renting out boats, RVs, swimming pools, and storage space. So here's your second action step. Pick one side hustle. Start this week, even if it's just an hour a day. That extra $20 will make all the difference. Now let's talk about saving smarter, because where you keep your money matters just as much as how much you save. The national average savings account interest rate is just 0.38% APY. Many large traditional banks pay even less, closer to 0.01%. If you're keeping your savings in a traditional bank, you're losing money to inflation every single day. Meanwhile, some high-yield savings accounts are still offering around 4.00% APY. The best high-yield savings accounts in 2026 offer up to 4.50% APY. That difference is massive. On $10,000, a traditional savings account at 0.38% earns you $38 a year. A high-yield savings account at 4.00% earns you $400 a year. That's an extra $362 for doing absolutely nothing. So here's your third action step. Move your savings to a high-yield savings account. Today. Right now. It takes 10 minutes, and it will literally pay you money. But let's take it one step further. The power of compound interest. Let me show you why saving early matters so much. Let's say you take that $5 a day, that $1,800 a year, and instead of spending it, you invest it into a low-cost index fund that tracks the S&P 500. Historically, that yields an average of about 8% to 10% per year. At 8% annual interest, investing $1,800 a year for 30 years doesn't just give you $54,000. It gives you over $200,000. That is a college education. That is a down payment on a house. That is an early retirement fund. When you ignore a small expense, you aren't saving $5. You are actively choosing to burn $200,000 of your future net worth. That is the real price tag of just this once. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe to Money Decode so you don't miss the next wealth breakdown.